great information today. It is event day here at K2. Cheap Home Makeovers continues now with a project you will no doubt see one of your neighbors taking on in the next few weeks.
Hopefully they're taking on my deck. That's what I'm thinking. We're talking about the restaining those decks. And K2's Angelica Thornton is up on the K2 deck, which we all know needs a lot of work, Angelica.
It sure does, Steve, but I could probably fix it. I don't know. This is in pretty bad shape. It looks dry even when it's pouring rain out here. But you actually shouldn't let the weather scare you off. I'm going to explain why in a second. This is an easy project. It can save you thousands. I spent a few days with a pro to show you how to do it right.
So the deck is all covered with the dark black gray mold and fungus on it, and it's starting to, turn the gray and the black colors. So it's starting to deteriorate.
A deck that's definitely seen better days. Brad Bernard can rip it up and build a new one, but he told the Beaverton homeowner he wants to save it.
It should look like a brand new deck when we're finished.
First step, check the forecast. Contrary to popular belief, you don't need the sun for this project.
Lightly overcast day like it is today is perfect for doing it because it doesn't dry too fast.
When you're ready to go, lightly moisten the deck and apply stripper. Use a brush around the edges so you won't strip the fence or railings. Then use a regular roller for the rest, and always go with the grain.
Let the stripper sit for about 15 minutes. If the sun comes out and it starts to dry, then go ahead and moisten it lightly again with the pressure washer. Doesn't have to be on, or you could use a garden hose.
When time's up, scrub it with a deck brush, but don't push too hard. Let the stripper and the brush do the work. Then a rinse. Whether you're using a power washer or garden hose, be gentle.
That's, I think, one of the most common mistakes that homeowners make is they get the power washer, they get too close, and they actually dig into the wood and then destroy it. So you've got to be very careful.
The next step is optional. We use a wood cleaner that costs around $20 to really brighten up that grimy top layer.
So if you can't sand it, you really need to do this, because in the Northwest, we just get so much spore, mold, mildew, that you need to remove it before you put anything down.
Another rinse, and it's time to let the deck dry out. You'll need 24 hours of dry weather before and after you apply the stain. 2 days later, Brad is taking the extra step of sanding this deck. You can rent a sander from a home improvement store. It's also a non-toxic alternative if you have plants nearby or you just don't like the idea of using a harsh stripper. The final step, staining. First, use a brush in between all the grooves where a roller won't reach, and then roll. Map it out to avoid backing yourself into a corner, and only do this once.
Too many people want to put 2 coats on, and it really needs just 1 coat, because if you try to put 2 coats on, it just sits on top of the surface and it won't dry, and then it'll be a sticky mess and you won't be able to use the deck for a while.
A dingy deck brought back to life, and if you do it right, it'll last at least 2 years.
Other things to remember: don't rush. That is so important. You really have to make sure that the deck is dry before you apply the stain, and wear eye protection. That stuff can burn, and also cover your legs and wear pants that you can throw out, because that bleach can really leave spots all over your clothes. Steve?
Angelica, thank you. I'm thinking we get the whole newsroom and go up there and fix the thing.
I'm ready to work.
What do you think?
You go right ahead. I'll support you all the way.
All hands on deck.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize.